by now, but if I haven't, my name is Ben Burrowes. I'm the Regional Manager for East Asia for Education New Zealand, based in Singapore. So very happy to be here in Ho Chi Minh with you. I'm going to, as Grant and John mentioned, basically run through or recap where we've come to so far with the strategy, and give you a bit of an update on what we've been doing since the scholarships were launched in market. I think, as John mentioned, we were in this room probably about a year ago, and you were presented to by a number of consultancies, and as you know, we ended up selecting one who delivered us this report built around how we grow the market here for our school sector. Essentially, they gave us 13 opportunities addressing some key gaps and some specific value propositions. So we took those 13, and then you'll see we mapped them across industry, Education New Zealand, and SEBA. Oh, okay. Oh, they're recording, all right. Okay. And then from those 13 recommendations, we identified 3 key ones that we thought we had the capability to work towards. Scholarships, obviously you know those very well. Our agent-facing activities, and then our in-market engagement and promotional activities, which I'll go into a little bit more detail. I won't run through this whole table, but the key part of this is our key focuses and initiatives that you'll see there highlighted down the bottom of the table. So beginning with the scholarships. So as you know, these are our first government-led scholarships offered exclusively for Vietnamese school students. So that's the scholarship first of the 3, and then our agent-facing activities. So when we say that, obviously agent-facing activities dedicated primarily to our school sector. And we've already been, those have certainly been underway in the last half of 2018 and early 2019, essentially upskilling our agents on the sector and helping them with the capabilities to promote, I guess, and recruit the right sort of profile of school students into New Zealand that you're after. We've also got a number of co-funded activities, what we call our agent co-funding. We essentially go out to market with an RFP, requesting proposals that we will then co-fund with agents. So that might be seminars, digital activities, and a range of things, and a number of those are underway, and also underway with new agents that we're trying to bring in who have previously been more dedicated to the US markets, Australia and the UK, essentially trying to build our NZSS program and give you a wider base of agents to work with. And then obviously our NZSS agent program, which we're building, and we spoke to the agents about this morning. And then our government engagement, so primarily with DOET, or the Department of Education and Training, we signed an MOU in January when we launched the scholarships. And that's been crucial for us in terms of opening doors into the local schools, the schools that you've been visiting in the last couple of days, and the ones obviously in Hanoi as well. That was a challenge for us in the past, and that MOU is really like I said, open those doors, and open those doors to explore the school-to-school partnerships, or the regional or city-to-city partnerships, and then those cultural immersion programs, which I'll touch on as well. So this is essentially what we've done since finalising the scholarships and finalising the list of 36 schools who are part of the initiative. We held a press conference here in January, which through the help of DOET, we got some significant media interest. You'll see there the number of clippings and the PR value, which we were very pleased with. It gave us that initial burst of awareness. And through there, following that, we had school visits. Many of you will be aware of Vin School. So essentially some road shows. We had obviously the Dukan Fair and a parent seminar with IDP. Another thing to highlight in terms of the promotion of the scholarships, obviously we have from New Zealand, we have a large digital sort of promotional budget for these fairs this weekend, and a big chunk of that was dedicated to our scholarships. So all the messaging, or a lot of the messaging, was bringing students or potential students for you guys over Saturday, Sunday. Also in January we had, as I mentioned, the agent channel was one of the 3 key recommendations. We had the dedicated agent seminars in January here with quite a large number, similar number to those that we had here today in Ho Chi Minh, and a good number in Hanoi. And that's probably a market we're seeing probably an increased interest or enthusiasm from the agents in New Zealand, which is very promising to see. And I think as you see there, we've got a good number of them registered for Hanoi on Monday. And obviously you had your seminar here this morning. So I talked about the MOU. This is our key government engagement. We're also exploring what we can do in Hanoi, a Hanoi equivalent. I've talked about how this essentially opens those doors to get us into the Vietnamese schools. We're also looking at potentially bringing some DOET reps and some Vietnamese school reps and senior management to New Zealand later this year to obviously showcase our school sector. That's in sort of the early stages, but we will reach out once we have any details firmed up there. Obviously, as that bottom line says, with that government endorsement or DOET endorsement, I guess lends a huge amount of authority and I guess trust to the Vietnamese and student parents. It's a New Zealand government scholarship for our schools with the support of the Vietnamese government, which certainly goes a long way. Again, I won't touch on this too much. It's already underway as you've been on the road in Ho Chi Minh exploring these potential opportunities. So I won't touch on too much of that in detail. Again, these are obviously our key objectives. You've seen these in the reports that we've sent through in terms of you've received the overview of our scholarships program. I guess what we want to highlight here again today is the scholarships are just a small part of our sector strategy. I guess they're a great foot in the door for us, especially at the government level, and that enables us to then build out the strategy further with some of these other options with exchange programs and various other partnerships with the schools here. So I won't talk in too much detail. Hopefully that's given you a bit of a recap or a bit of a reminder about where we've come from and what's been happening in the last couple of months. So as John mentioned in the agenda at the beginning, I will help introduce the next speakers, the external speakers. We've got our first